What if I told you that one of the most powerful health transformations you could make doesn't require an expensive supplement, a grueling workout plan, or a drastic lifestyle overhaul? What if all it took was removing one single thing from your diet just for 14 days to feel dramatically different? Today, we're talking about sugar, and more specifically, what actually happens to your body day by day when you eliminate it completely for 2 weeks. Not cutting back, not reducing, completely eliminating it. The average person consumes between 17 and 22 teaspoons of added sugar every single day. That's nearly 3 to 4 times the recommended daily limit. It's hiding in your morning coffee creamer, your granola bar, your pasta sauce, your salad dressing, and yes, even in foods labeled healthy. Sugar has become so embedded in the modern diet that most people don't even realize how much they're consuming. But here's the thing, your body is remarkably adaptive. And when you take sugar out of the equation, the changes that follow are nothing short of extraordinary. Let's walk through what actually happens, day by day and week by week, when you make the bold decision to go sugar-free for 14 days. Let's be upfront about this. The first 3 days are the hardest, and understanding why makes it much easier to push through them. When you eat sugar, your body releases insulin, a hormone whose job is to shuttle that sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells. But here's the catch. That process often overshoots, pushing your blood sugar down lower than it was before you ate. This drop in blood sugar is what creates the dreaded sugar crash, and it's also what makes you crave more sugar almost immediately after eating it. Sugar literally fuels its own craving. When you cut sugar cold, your body panics, at least initially. You may experience headaches, irritability, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and even mild flu-like symptoms. Some people describe it as a kind of mental fog. This is your body going through withdrawal. And yes, sugar withdrawal is a real documented physiological process. Here's what's happening under the hood. At the cellular level, your body is beginning to build new metabolic enzymes. These are the molecular machines that will allow your cells to run on a different fuel source, fat instead of sugar. This biological shift takes roughly 72 hours to begin in earnest. That's why 3 days is usually the hardest point. A helpful tip for getting through these first 3 days: make sure you're getting enough B vitamins and potassium. Nutritional yeast is an excellent source of both. Many people who supplement with these nutrients during the first few days report significantly milder withdrawal symptoms. Remind yourself, anyone can handle 3 days. Keep your eyes on the prize. Around day 4, something interesting starts to happen. That relentless craving for sweets begins to fade. And it's not just willpower, it's biochemistry. 1. You stop craving sugar. Because you're no longer triggering those insulin spikes and blood sugar crashes, the cycle of craving is broken. Your blood glucose stabilizes, and with it, the desperate urge to reach for something sweet diminishes substantially. Foods that you previously wouldn't have thought twice about, a piece of fruit, a handful of nuts, begin to taste sweeter and more satisfying. 2. You become less hungry. This is one of the most surprising revelations for people doing a sugar detox for the first time. They simply stop being as hungry. This seems counterintuitive. Aren't you eating less? But the science explains it clearly. Sugar, particularly fructose, interferes with leptin, the satiety hormone that tells your brain you're full. It also promotes insulin resistance, a condition where your cells begin to reject insulin signals. When your cells resist insulin, they're essentially blocking sugar from getting in. That means even when you've eaten plenty of calories, your cells are energy starved, and your brain keeps sending hunger signals. It's a cruel paradox. Eating more sugar makes you hungrier. As insulin sensitivity improves, which begins happening within the first week, your cells can absorb fuel properly again. Your hunger naturally regulates itself. You eat less, not because you're forcing yourself to, but because your body is actually satisfied. 3. You start losing water weight fast. During the first week, many people drop significant weight, and it can happen quickly. Some report losing up to 10 to 13 pounds within the first 7 days. Before you celebrate too enthusiastically, it's important to understand what's happening. Most of this is water. Sugar causes your body to retain fluid. It also causes your body to store glycogen, a form of stored carbohydrate, in the muscles and liver. For every gram of glycogen stored, your body holds about 3 grams of water. When you cut sugar, glycogen stores are depleted, and that water is released. The result is a rapid, visible reduction in puffiness and bloating, especially around the midsection. Your waistline is one of the most reliable indicators of your sugar intake. A belly that expands after eating and shrinks after cutting back is speaking directly to your glycogen and insulin levels. After just 1 week without sugar, most people notice their clothes fitting differently, looser around the gut, the face looking slimmer, and puffiness under the eyes beginning to clear up. By the second week, the initial withdrawal is long behind you, and the real magic starts to unfold across multiple body systems simultaneously. 4. Your energy levels stabilize. No more afternoon crashes. If you've ever felt inexplicably exhausted after a meal, especially a carb-heavy lunch, you know the sugar fatigue phenomenon. High sugar meals cause a rapid spike in blood glucose, followed by an equally rapid crash. This blood sugar roller coaster leaves your brain foggy and your body desperate for rest. By week 2, with your blood sugar running at a stable, even keel, that post-meal fatigue disappears. You can eat a meal and feel energized rather than sedated. Your brain, which is exquisitely sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, begins to function more smoothly. Focus sharpens. Mental fog lifts. Many people describe feeling sharper and more present during the second week of a sugar detox than they have in years. 5. Your mood improves dramatically. Sugar is a mood disruptor masquerading as a comfort food. In the short term, eating something sweet gives a brief dopamine hit, a moment of pleasure. But the blood sugar crash that follows often brings irritability, anxiety, and low mood in its wake. When you eliminate sugar, that emotional roller coaster levels out. People consistently report feeling calmer, less reactive, and more emotionally resilient after the first week sugar-free. Stress feels more manageable. Minor frustrations don't escalate as easily. The baseline mood simply improves, and people around you will notice it too. Beyond mood, cognitive function sees a meaningful upgrade. Concentration improves. Tasks that require sustained mental effort feel less draining. Many people who struggle with attention difficulties find that reducing sugar intake leads to noticeably better focus without any other intervention. 6. Your skin starts to glow. One of the most visually rewarding changes from going sugar-free is what happens to your skin. Sugar is one of the most inflammatory substances you can consume, and inflammation manifests on the skin in the form of acne, redness, dullness, and accelerated aging. Here's the hormonal chain. When you eat sugar, insulin levels rise. Elevated insulin triggers an increase in androgens, male sex hormones that are present in both men and women. In women, elevated androgens are a leading driver of hormonal acne, particularly the stubborn cystic kind around the jawline and chin. In men, chronically high insulin suppresses testosterone production, which can lead to fatigue, reduced muscle mass, and other symptoms associated with low testosterone. Sugar also triggers glycation, a process where sugar molecules attach to collagen and elastin fibers in the skin, causing them to become stiff and damaged. This is one of the primary mechanisms of premature skin aging. By cutting sugar, you slow this process dramatically. By the end of 2 weeks, many people see a noticeable improvement in skin clarity, texture, and radiance. The skin simply looks healthier because it is. 7. Inflammation throughout your body decreases. Chronic inflammation is considered by many researchers to be the root cause of most modern diseases, from heart disease and diabetes to arthritis, autoimmune conditions, and even certain cancers. And sugar is one of the most potent drivers of chronic systemic inflammation. When you reduce sugar intake, markers of inflammation in the body begin to fall. In practical terms, this means less joint stiffness and pain, particularly notable for people who suffer from arthritis or chronic aches. Many people are surprised to find that the morning stiffness they assumed was just part of aging begins to ease significantly within 2 weeks of cutting sugar. Inside your arteries, less inflammation means reduced risk of plaque formation, the process that leads to cardiovascular disease. Think of it as giving the interior walls of your blood vessels a much-needed break from constant irritation. 8. Your brain starts growing new cells. Here's one that sounds almost too good to be true, but the science supports it. When you significantly reduce carbohydrates and sugar, your body begins producing ketones as an alternative fuel source. Ketones are produced when the liver breaks down fat, and they are actually a preferred fuel for the brain. Research has shown that ketones promote neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to grow, adapt, and form new connections. They support the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, sometimes called fertilizer for the brain, which encourages the growth of new neurons and strengthens existing neural pathways. This is one reason many people report feeling sharper and more mentally clear during a sugar detox. Their brain is literally running on a cleaner, more efficient fuel. 9. Your liver begins to heal. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is one of the most widespread and underdiagnosed health conditions in the developed world. And the leading cause is not, as many people assume, dietary fat. It's sugar, specifically fructose, which is metabolized almost exclusively in the liver. When you consume excess fructose, the liver converts it into fat and stores it. Over time, this leads to a fatty liver, a condition that impairs the organ's ability to filter blood, produce bile, regulate blood sugar, and perform hundreds of other essential functions. A clue that you may have a fatty liver. If you carry excess weight around the midsection, it's often accompanied by liver fat. When you cut sugar, your liver can finally begin using that stored fat for fuel. Within 2 weeks, the liver starts clearing out accumulated fat and restoring its normal function. It's one of the most important internal changes happening during a sugar detox, even though you can't see or feel it directly. 10. Your kidneys function better. The kidneys are among the most sugar-sensitive organs in the body. This is well documented in diabetes research. Kidney damage, diabetic nephropathy, is one of the most serious long-term complications of chronically elevated blood sugar. The mechanism involves the kidneys being forced to filter an excessive sugar load over and over again, leading to structural damage and scarring. You don't need to be diabetic for sugar to affect kidney function. Even in non-diabetic individuals, chronically high sugar intake creates low-grade inflammation and oxidative stress in the kidneys. When you cut sugar, that burden is lifted. Kidney filtration improves. Blood pressure, which is heavily influenced by kidney function, may also begin to ease.